ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So welcome to the Manah Siksha series. We have been discussing Shivram Swami Maharaj commentary on the first verse. So yesterday we discussed partly the commentary, and today we will continue the discussion. But before I continue the discussion, I would like to recap the whole discussion, what is happening, so we get the flow of thought while we continue our discussion. So Maharaj begins with his commentary by mentioning one theme in the beginning from paragraphs 1 to 6 is what happens with the development of faith. You hear talk about Krishna and you have love. That's why you are attracted to Krishna Katha. So this development of faith is because of Sukruti. And we saw these three different levels of Shraddha. The definition Maharaj gives, Shra and Dha means to give one's heart. So how it applies at different stages in our development of devotional service, we saw that. And if you have faith, then you will accept mantra, diksha, which the diksha giver gives, and shiksha also. So swamantre, swanamne will follow. So we saw the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and the Gayatri Mantra with respect to. You will develop attachment to Guru and Goshtaleshu, the Shiksha and the Diksha Gurus, and to Vrindavan Dham. And it also refers to the Uttama, Madhyama, and the Kanishta Dikaris. And then Maharaj mentions that there are 4 questions, and the answers he gives in summary and then detail. And the 4 questions are what? The 4 question is, what is someone's duty and how to do that? And the third question is how to develop this love, and that is that this love exclusive. So all these four questions he answers, and now we are seeing in the remaining themes that these answers are more in detail. So if you want to develop that love, you have to give up pride. Sada dambam hitva. And envy, we saw the symptom of envy is manifested in the form of pride, and opposite of pride or envy is love. So we have to develop love and surrender. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur's, yesterday we saw the definition, how the external indication shows one's internal cultivation. You cannot have, the two are intrinsic with each other. We saw that. And surrender means love, and love for Shri Shri Radha Krishna. It is Vraja Krishna, the highest Bhagwan, Swayam Bhagwan, we have to develop. And actually, it's not just developing love, it's redeveloping that love. Nitya Shuddha Krishna Prem. And we saw the verse Nitya Siddhasya Bhavasya, the Sthayi Bhav. And this redeveloping of love is by becoming attached to Guru, Goshte, Goshtaleshu. And the spiritual attachment is developed by sadhana bhakti, by sadhana bhakti. And as you associate, the Hridaya Granthi is cut, slackened, and one's karmic reactions are diminished. And as one hears and assimilates, yesterday we were mentioning what assimilate means: hearing, contemplation, shravanam, mananam, and nididhyasana. Then only we have heard. And we should hear the final instruction of Gita, which mentions surrender. So this is where yesterday we had stopped our discussion. So Krishna says, then Krishna says, Mamekam Sharanam Raja. This is the consequence of hearing Bhagavad Gita, surrender. Surrender. I mentioned love means to surrender. Therefore, one has to be able to assimilate an instruction. I understand an instruction and practically put into practice in my own sadhana bhakti, in my own devotional side. Yesterday we saw this, but I'm just repeating. When one has understood, ultimately the conclusion is that yes, one should surrender directly to Krishna. But surrendering to Krishna is not possible. Therefore, one surrenders to Guru, Krishna's representative, and that is formalized to the process of Diksha. So now we will continue our discussion further in the next paragraph, paragraph 31. It is formalized through Diksha, surrendering to spiritual master. And how that happens, it is quoted. Upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. Because the first line of 4.34, Maharaj is quoting 4.34 in the Bhagavad Gita. Tad vidhi pranipat. Pranipat means to surrender. So Maharaj is saying, Krishna states, Upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. Upadekshanti. We come closer by Diksha. Now, in fact, if you see Prabhupada's word-to-word meaning, Upa means to close, to come close. Dikshyanti. Anyone knows what Prabhupada translates the word-to-word meaning for Upadikshanti? Anyone knows? Kindly raise your hands. Who knows the word-to-word translation of Upadikshanti? Dikshanti, what does Prabhupada translate? Anyone? Anyone knows? Virendra Yadav Prabhuji? Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu Dandot Pranam. Here Prabhupada translates, they will initiate Updekshanti.
Oh, you are looking at the book and saying then.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Without looking at the book also, we should be able to tell. Yes. So I'm showing you Upadekshanti. They will initiate. So Diksha means Divya Jnanam. Divya Jnanam means when you get transcendental knowledge by hearing from a bona fide spiritual master, that is where initiation, the process of initiation begins. It's not a, although in the first initiation you formalize that relationship, but the real initiation happens in the heart. Prabhupada, when he was defeated by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said, in my heart, I accepted him as my spiritual master. And that was initiation. So we're coming in touch with a spiritual teacher and hearing from him and accepting those instructions and getting the transcendental knowledge by which, oh, I should not now eat meat, I should follow the regulatory principles. Then Divyam Jnanam Kuryat Papasya Shankasham. Your sinful life is diminished. That's what definition in the Tattva Sandarbha Jiva Goswami quotes. So we come closer by Diksha. So Diksha is actually here, Upadekshanti. So the point here is that surrender means that we come closer to the spiritual master through hearing. That is Diksha. What does Diksha mean? Okay, Divya Jnana Hridaya Prakashito. Maharaj is quoting from the Guru Vandana. That process by which one receives transcendental knowledge and by which one's bonds to fruitive or karmic activities are slashed or purified. When one takes initiation, he or she receives a mantra by which to worship the Supreme Lord. And by chanting that mantra, service is rendered always in one's mind. Then one renders service to Lord Krishna and simultaneously worships Gurus and Vaishnavas. Paragraph 32. Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives further instructions as to how sadhaka relates to this attachment that we have in the material world to the attachment we want to develop for Krishna. So further he relates. What does he relate? Let us see. As mentioned above, through sadhana, the bonds of one's karma become slackened and ultimately dissipated. The result is that one develops an inner spiritual strength. It is something that Bhaktivinoda Thakur refers to in many places, that a devotee should feel inner spiritual strength. Devotees have experience of this. Sometimes when we have practiced Krishna consciousness nicely, we feel confident and strong. So this is that inner spiritual strength. So how we know that we are, how to develop that internal attachment for Krishna? By spiritual practices, by strong spiritual sadhana, and we start feeling that inner spiritual strength. And at other times, we feel its absence or a lacking. Sometimes, for instance, when we sleep through japa and then we really notice it by its absence, then there is no strength there. There's no strength. You should feel charged, surcharged when you chant in the mornings. That's why morning chanting is very, very important for devotees. Bhaktivinoda Thakur also mentions a related point in Harinam Chintamani, that a devotee can feel the spiritual strength which is bound within the heart of another Vaishnava. Devotees have that experience sometimes when coming into the presence of another devotee. So we are bound by not just some mere physical connection, but it is the heart-to-heart connection. Krishna is there in the heart. And the spiritual master is the manifestation of Krishna without. And that's why when Prabhupada began the Hare Krishna movement, and he had to return back to India to take care of his health, devotees were very worried. Prabhupada said, you chant here, I will chant there, and we'll be connected. So we should feel that bond. Very important it is. All devotees who have experience with Srila Prabhupada knew of his strong presence. It was not a material presence or a charismatic presence. It was an overpowering spiritual presence, which was something just too much for people to handle, and they would leave. So coming in touch with Prabhupada was coming in touch with a powerhouse because he was carrying the Shakti, the Bhakti Shakti in his heart. And if you are not completely also having that same quality, then you could not be more in the presence of such a powerhouse. You had to leave. So that's what Maharaj is saying here. And we still feel that presence here in this temple room. Even if we bring non-devotees into the room, they can still feel a presence. That is an actual spiritual potency. It is a manifestation of Lord's Ladini and Samvit potency, which are the manifestations of Shuddha Sattva. So at the Shuddha Sattva platform, at the stage of Bhava, as I mentioned, Bhava is bestowed by the Lord. At that stage, the Lord's Ladini Shakti and the Samvit potency. The Samvit potency, we are in touch with the Samvit potency now. The Bhakti Sambandhit Gyan, the knowledge about devotional service and the practice is all belonging to the Samvit potency. We are in touch with the Samvit potency. And as we practice bhakti, the karmic reactions are diminished and we start feeling inner spiritual pleasure. So we experience alhad, happiness in Krishna consciousness. But at the point where the Samvit potency fully matures, when we get complete realization from Gyan to Vigyan, it's not a, that we directly from zero Gyan to 100% Vigyan we go. No, we have certain percent of Gyan and certain percent of Vigyan is there, realization is there. But when the scale goes more towards complete Vigyan, complete realization, at the stage of Bhava, the Samvit potency along with the Ladini potency enter the heart and together they form what is the Bhakti Shakti. This happens when we are at the Shuddha Sattva platform. Okay. Any questions you have, you can always raise your hand and we can take it up. Paragraph 34. When a devotee comes to the platform of pure devotional service or Prema Bhakti, then this Shuddha Sattva manifests within that person's heart by the mercy of Srimati Radharani. So it manifests at the stage of Bhava and fully manifests at the stage of Prema. And that Swarup Shakti, the transcendental potency, can be felt by others who are at least a little sensitive. It has a permanent effect. So somebody coming in touch with Prabhupada even once in his life, I met in one temple, old man, he had just come to take darshan. And after taking darshan, I just spoke to him and he said that I met your spiritual master once in Hyderabad. Not my spiritual, our founder Acharya. He had come to give a lecture. I just had him this darshan once. So that when you were speaking, I could just feel, how overpowering his presence, proper presence was to him and what impact it had. That although this person had not taken up to devotional life, he was just, just out of the blue, he had come to visit the temple. But that impact of the spiritual impression was so deep that he was carrying it from the last 50 years. And this will not go futile. He will take up either in this life or in the next life, because he had a darshan of a sadhu who was carrying the Swarup Shakti of the Lord. It has a permanent effect. Paragraph 35. The result of this spiritual development is that it attracts the mercy of Krishna and devotees. And this is a topic that is recurring in Sri Manah Siksha. On one side, the effort of the devotee, on the other side, the mercy of Krishna. Both of these are required for advancement in devotional life. So we have to develop attachment to sadhana bhakti, by which we get spiritual strength and we get mercy of Krishna and Vaishnavas. So both are required, our efforts and ultimately Krishna's mercy. And what is the result of this mercy? When we sufficiently attract the mercy of Vaishnavas, Guru and Krishna, then this attachment will develop and manifest. It is something that we try to cultivate, but ultimately it is bestowed. So we have to develop this attachment and we have to strive for it. But one thing we have to understand, that it is bestowed ultimately. But our sincere efforts is what Krishna is looking for. Ultimately, Krishna consciousness can be only attained, mercy, by mercy. But our sadhana should be there. What we actually try to cultivate is the qualification for receiving it. When we cry out to Krishna, Amara Jivan Sada Papera Nahi Koi Punya Ralesh. When we really genuinely cry out the holy names, that is the adhikar. Krishna hears that cry of his children, and then he will bestow his mercy. So this is what we need to really work on. Ultimately, it is something that is given to us by the mercy of Vaishnavas and Krishna. So this is also the understanding we should have, clear understanding about it. Paragraph 36. Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that this sublime attachment, what this sublime attachment is, saying that to the degree this attachment is concentrated, it is called sublime attachment. So it's not just very fickle attachment or a gross attachment. It is very, very thick, condensed, deep attachment. And to the degree it is very deep, to that degree it is sublime. Bhaktivinoda Thakur had one disciple who was serving Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and when Bhaktivinoda Thakur left the world, he was so deep in feeling of separation from his spiritual master that he could not sustain in that body, and he left. So that was a kind of deep attachment he had to his spiritual master. In other words, the degree of concentration is the degree to which there is no material impediments, there is no karma jnana karma dhyana vritam, no other material things present. To that degree, it is called sublime attachment. So in the Kunti Maharani's prayers, Tvai me ananya vishaya madhupate sakra ratim udvatya adhya gangevegum udanvati. Tvai me ananya vishaya. Let my consciousness, be only towards you. Ananya Vishaya, no other Vishaya except you. Mati, let my consciousness flow towards you. Madhupate, just like the honey when you start pouring, there is no break. Just like water, when you drop, the water droplets might spread out, but the honey flows constantly. So similarly, my mind should constantly flow towards your lotus feet. Ratim udvate adya, my rati, my attraction towards you should be like Ganga Vegum, just like the Ganges, which starts from Gomukh and flows towards the ocean. So let my consciousness also flow towards your lotus feet, my Lord. So there are two things. Here, Maharaj has mentioned there should be no material impediments. So the Ganga flow towards the ocean is obstructed or can be obstructed. It never gets obstructed because of external reasons and internal reasons. The external might be some external obstacles like the rocks or the trees, but the force of Ganga's flow is so heavy that it will break those and flow towards the ocean. Secondly, the water, the celestial waters of Ganges flows from the Gomukh, and Ganga doesn't hold on anything to herself. She completely outpours. So the internal material impediments are in one sense a deep obstacle. So Manah Siksa is addressing those internal impediments. Jnana karmadya anavritam. No other desires or doing actions to attain anything in this world. All actions only for Krishna. No material thing present. Anya bilashita shunyam. So to that degree, there is sublime attachment. There are two important qualifications for receiving this attachment. So let us see what are these two important qualifications. First, one must be very eager. Tatra laulyam ekalam mulnam. One should develop this greed. When, kada, when will Sunday come and I'll go to the temple to hear Bhagavatam? When will morning arrive where I can go and attend Mangalarti and chant my rounds? When will the night be over so that I can get up in the morning and chant my rounds? So this is the kind of laulya we should develop. Yes, Sunita Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I had a question. Since you recited Kunti Maharani's prayers, if someone wishes to recite Kunti Maharani's prayers, should he recite? Because some of the teachers or those acharyas, those give us lectures. They say that Kunti Maharani's prayers are for an elevated soul and we should not recite at this level.
Pardon, what did you say?
Some of the teachers, means those who give lectures and all, no, regarding Kunti Maharani's prayers, they say that we are not at that elevated state to recite Kunti Maharani prayers because she asks for, may she have impediments in her life so that her devotional service gets strong to Krishna.
Yes. Now, that one specific prayer is mentioned, but I would like to tell firstly, generally, all prayers in the Bhagavatam are meant, although they are siddhas, they are perfected beings who had direct reciprocation with Krishna. Dhruva Maharaj saw Krishna Garbha and he recited out of transcendental realization his prayers. All the prayers in the Bhagavatam should be recited. That's the first thing. That's the first principle you have to understand. There are some prayers, like, it is mentioned that, Kunti Maharani Vipada Santuta. Now, do we feel really like that? Like, let impediments come and, because by seeing those impediments, I will see you, and then I will not see, this material existence. But are we able to handle it? So yes, regarding that prayer, they say, but again, it depends on adhikar. Like once one sannyasi told me that one of his disciple went and prayed to Krishna Balram, Krishna Balram, please purify me quickly. And a lot of health problems he had after this prayer. And then he went, Krishna Balram, and he said that, my dear lords, please purify me slowly. So how much you can handle, that's important. So it should come naturally this prayer should come naturally as a part of our realization. And in a general sense, when we are reciting the prayers, we can recite. That's the point. I hope it is clear.
Yes, Prabhu. So we can recite the prayers just for pleasing Krishna. If we
Yes.
don't want impediments to come. And
We are
are not
scared
able
that
to handle.
impediments come, instead of becoming more serious in Krishna consciousness, it will take me away from Krishna consciousness.
Yes,
Because
yes.
we get affected, but that's our test also. So in general, we should recite all the prayers. And as we grow in our advancement, we naturally feel like that, yes, this is a good opportunity for me to become more deeper and strong. And I feel like that genuinely, and then I should genuinely recite those prayers. Is it okay, Mataji?
Yes, thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Yes. So, two things, Tatra Laulyam. And the second is, one must be humble. So please mark this. How we can develop that sublime attachment by two ingredients are required, laulyam and humility. Without these two qualifications, one will not be able to attract Lord Krishna's attention. Only by humility, one can attract the Lord's attention. Paragraph 37. One has to be enthusiastic and constantly maintain oneself in a state of enthusiasm. One should do whatever is required to remain enthusiastic and humble. So, initially, our enthusiasm in Krishna consciousness is there because Krishna consciousness is a newfound thing. But that enthusiasm is not a steady enthusiasm. And that's why it is called as Utsa Mahi, false enthusiasm. But as we come more in the touch of association of devotees, Krishna consciousness, we find that the hat is having impurities. So our enthusiasm goes up and down because of the influence of the modes. But steady enthusiasm can be maintained only at the stage of Nishtha. So at the stage of Nishtha, one is enthusiastic. So Prabhupada also defines enthusiasm means endeavor executed in Krishna consciousness with intelligence is called as enthusiasm. So one has to become enthusiastic and humble. Without being humble, it is not possible to receive Krishna's mercy. Please mark this point. Dinera adik daya kare Bhagavan. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita it is there. And what is the disqualification for receiving it? What is the disqualification for development in sadhana, for advancing in one's spiritual practices and cultivating this attachment? Lethargy. Tamas. It is because of the mode of tamaguna. Lethargy, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, is thinking, oh, it will happen of its own accord. I don't have to do anything. Something may happen, but it won't be what we are expecting or hoping for advancement in Krishna consciousness. So if you think, oh, the spiritual development or spiritual attachment is too difficult, maybe it will happen on its own. So if you think like that, this is lethargy. Something will happen, but not what? Advancement in Krishna. Something else will happen. So we have to be very, very careful about it. We should never have this kind of attitude. Oh, it will happen on its own. When we make this statement, we are making a negative statement, and that is because of the influence of Tama Guna. So paragraph 38, again, Maharaj speaks about Dambam Hitva. This verse mentions Dambam Hitva. Always get rid of this pride. So the previous theme was how we should give up pride to develop love. But here the focus in this paragraph is, it's not just Dambam Hitva, Sada Dambam Hitva. It's not that once you give up pride, it's over. No, repeatedly it is going to come again and again and all the time. That's why Rup Goswami has used the word sada. So that's the theme in this paragraph. Always get rid of this pride. The implication in saying always is that we may get rid of it, but it may come back. How many of us have experience of this? Kindly raise your hands. One devotee has raised his hand. I don't have a option to raise my hand. Okay. Yes. Yeah, many have experience of this. So it's not so easy. We might think that, we have overcome lust and it's gone. We have overcome fault finding and it's gone. But it comes back again. Just like when Lord Ram was shooting the heads of Ravana, the moment he used to cut off one head and he used to cut off other heads, by the time another head would come up, pop up again. So similarly, this calm or damba is like that. We think we might get rid of it, but again it comes up because it's still deep rooted in our consciousness. So it might come back. That means it is a process, not that it's like a shovel filled with dirt and we throw it out and that's it, it's gone. Rather, there is a process for purifying our hearts from pride. And this is the first impediment that we will address here. So this is the impediment. Now Maharaj is going to address. Raghunath Das Goswami says hitva, which means to give up or reject. So how do we give up? Bhaktivinoda Thakur says it is by the assistance of the Guru. Therefore, it is described here that one should always remember the spiritual master first, before all activities, so that one becomes free from one's prideful or envious mentality. So early in the morning, once first we get up, we should offer our respectful obeisances to the spiritual master. Before night, going to bed, we offer our respectful obeisances to the spiritual master. Whatever we are able to speak, do, everything is by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. Otherwise, if I become adept in certain devotional activities, certain skills, then I might become proud. So we should always remember it's by Guru's mercy. So this is the key thing Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying. That's why Guru, first thing he has mentioned. Now paragraph 39 to 43 is very, very interesting. And let's hold on now and go into a deeper analysis of this pride, which we have to give up. So 39 to 43, the 6 elements of pride and the demons they represent in Krishna Leela. So are you ready? Now let's go into this theme, very, very important theme. Bhaktivinoda Thakur addresses 6 different elements of pride: illusion, deceit, pretense, ignorance, deviousness, and offense or aparadh. So these are the 6 elements of pride. These are not pride themselves, but they are elements which constitute pride. Sometimes when we cheat others, we feel a sense of pride. Even a simple act. I remember many years back, I was driving a two-wheeler in the Bangalore city and the traffic light stopped. I stopped. Another person, he was a little young student. He just crossed the traffic signal, although it was stopped. He just violated that law. And I could see that, he was feeling Yeah, I did it. No? So even, cheating others or cheating, deceit, uh, deviating the laws, one becomes proud. So these are elements which constitute pride. And sometimes there is difficulty in differentiating between some of them, so they require definition. Bhaktivinoda Thakur also gave definitions. Now Maharaj will give a little deeper understanding. Illusion means that one becomes satisfied and complacent by material accomplishments. That we achieve some result which is measured in material terms and become proud. So not only in material life, materialist can become like this, complacent. Even in spiritual life, when devotees initially are struggling without having proper facilities for staying or temple, and then temple comes up and staying facilities come up, then you can become satisfied and complacent being in that place because you achieved, and you might become proud. I have my room here, or I have a center like that. So material accomplishments can make us proud. That is illusion. Deceit is that one takes or is satisfied with the externals of spiritual life, which may mean one's dress, demeanor, mannerism, birth, and so on, and uses those to portray one's qualification. So this is deceit. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur is going to, and Raghunath Das Goswami is going to deal with it separately in Manah Siksha, verse 6. Pretense is a quality that is clearly defined by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and that is cultivating a desire for something else in practicing devotional service other than love for Krishna. I've been told to do this service without any expectations. If I do it, then it is Anya Bilashita Shunya. But I do it, but I have some expectation that out of this service, I will get some reward in the form of some Mahaprasad. I will do fundraising for the temple, but I want the temple to announce that how much I have raised the funds. That is all pretense. This problem is defined by the words Anya Bilashita Shunyam. So we are going deeper into this definition of Anya Bilashita Shunyam. Whereas that verse from where the phrase comes, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu 1:1:11, specifically defines pure devotional service. The converse is pretentious devotional service. So when devotional service is practiced with some other goal in mind other than simply to please Krishna's senses, that is pretense. Please mark, it is a little difficult to bear this heart operation, what Maharaj is explaining. This is a very important definition. What exactly is pretense? Ignorance is forgetfulness of one's spiritual identity, avidya. So, although as sadhakas, we have a theoretical understanding that we are part and parcel of Krishna, I am a Anu, Chaitanya, I am a particle of consciousness of the Supreme Consciousness, Vibhu Chaitanya. We don't have still the full realization, but even as sadhakas, one can always do their activities of devotional service with this knowledge that I am spirit soul, I am Krishna's part and parcel, and I am doing this service for Guru and Krishna's pleasure. Although one might not be on the transcendental platform in his identity situated as a spiritual soul, spirit soul, but avidya gets destroyed only at the stage of asakti. Please remember that. So it takes quite a lot in our practice of sadhana bhakti to destroy avidya, ignorance. Deviousness means that some other motivation may arise. And offenses can be made against the holy name, the devotees, and so on. Nam aparad and Vaishnav aparad. Paragraph. Okay. These are all also elements that cause pride. So all these elements can cause pride. I hope you got a deeper understanding about the elements which constitute pride: illusion, deceit, pretense, and then avidya, ignorance, deviousness, and offense. Paragraph 41. Shakta Ashura, the cart demon, personified pride which arose from residual bad habits carried over from previous lifetimes. Shaktasur was a demon Krishna killed because he was hiding in the cart, and the cart was loaded with all the utensils. So Krishna Lila is very deep. So similarly, we are loaded with all our past baggage in the form of samskars. And these residual bad habits we carry forward even in our practice of Krishna consciousness. So we know that we had certain bad habits before coming to Krishna consciousness, some kind of nature and inclination, and we still continue that. So Shaktashur is that demon. He was personified pride because of residual bad habits. Trinavat exemplified pride from scholarship. Trinavat was that demon which took Krishna. He was carrying Krishna and he was going up in the sky through that whirlwind. So similarly, a devotee who is preaching about Krishna, he's actually carrying Krishna, but because of pride of scholarship, if he's not humble, he feels, oh, I am going up in Krishna consciousness. But that pride, because of scholarship, will cause his fall. So Trinavarth is that Asura is exemplified pride from scholarship. Yamal Arjuna epitomized pride due to aristocracy or high birth. Aristocracy, sorry. My throat is a little stuck today. High birth, because they were the sons of Kuvera. Manigriv and Nal Kuvera. They were proud of their high birth and wealth. So that is pride because of high birth. Kalia Nag represented pride which arises due to crookedness or a devious mentality. The sacrificial Brahmanas, the Vedic Brahmanas or the Yagic Brahmanas personified pride due to the position in Varnashram. Somebody is coming in Krishna consciousness from a Brahmana family and he has that proud of being a Brahmana. That is pride due to Varnashram position. Arishtasura showed pride which arises due to practicing false religious principles. Now, Arishtasura was almost the last demon killed by Krishna. After Arishtasura, there were two more demons which Krishna killed. Anyone knows who are they? Who were the last two demons killed by Krishna after Arishtasura? I hope everyone is reading Krishna Leela, especially the Krishna book of Prabhupada. Every day we should read it. Which were the last two demons after Krishna killed Arishtasura? The last two demons which Krishna killed. Maya Narasimha Rao Prabhuji. Yes.
Prabhu, I guess after Arishtasura he left to Mathura. There he killed washerman and one more person.
No. I am speaking about demons killed by Krishna in Vrindavan after Arishtasur.
Arishtar was the last one, Prabhu.
No, it is Vyomasur and Keshi demon. And after killing Keshi, then he comes to Mathura. But Acharyas say that in one sense, Arishtasur is the last demon he's killed. And Arishtasur came in the form of a bull. And bull is an emblem of religion, dharma. And Krishna killed this demon just before performing the Ras Leela. This happened, and the manifestation of Radhakund happened because of the killing of Arishtasur. So his highest Leela, that is the Ras Leela, which he performs on the banks of Radhakund, just before that, this killing of this demon happened. So at the highest level also, when a devotee is there, he can start imitating or pretending that, I'm into, in Leela with Krishna or something like that. So false religious principles. So that represents the demon, Arishtasur, pride due to false religious principles. Because Arishtasur was a bull demon. It was an emblem of religion. Keshi represented the pride which arises from being materially situated in spiritual life. Please mark this, materially situated in spiritual life, such as being a guru, sannyasi, or in some big position and becoming proud of that particular position. Somebody is a temple president, somebody is a temple manager or the temple commander, and nicely materially situated in that spiritual life. This is the pride which can arise of material position. From these 7 pastimes, we can see present the 6 elements of pride that Bhaktivinoda Thakur speaks of: illusion, deceit, pretense, ignorance, deviousness, and offenses or aparadh. So I actually did not make a chart, but I had to do it, and I'll do it and next time present it. How each of these elements, Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Chaitanya Shikshamrit and even in Krishna Samhita and in various other works explains how each of these demons which Krishna kills represent some anartha in our heart. And, especially pride due to scholarship, pride due to high birth, pride due to aristocracy, high birth, that is pride due to being well situated, all these prides, these are all the demons which Maharaj has already mentioned here: Shaktashur, Trinavart, Yamalarjuna, Kalyanag, the Yagic Brahmins, Arishtasur, and Keshi demon. Now, how many devotees first time are hearing about this, about the anarthas which all these demons represent in the form of pride? Kindly raise your hands. First time who are hearing this, or you have come across this. 1, 2, 3. Others have heard. 4. Okay. So many devotees have heard. That's good, So we should read Krishna Leela book, especially the Krishna book. And as we read 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, all this understanding will also come. And just like Krishna killed all these demons who represent the anarthas, Krishna will kill these demons in the form of anarthas in our heart. How? How will Krishna kill them? Who will answer this? Raise your hands. Krishna personally killed all these demons and they represent some anartha in our heart. So in our heart, these anarthas are there in the subtle form. So how will Krishna kill these anarthas? It's only Krishna who can kill. So how this killing will happen of these anarthas which are there in our heart? Yes, Sunita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Dandavat Pranam. I can guess
Yes.
by
please.
becoming humble, Krishna can kill the demons in our hearts.
By Krishna becoming humble. Okay. Any other thoughts? Krishna has to kill personally. How he will kill these demons? Yes, Rasparani Mataji. Yes.
Prabhuji, is it with sadhana and chanting the holy names? Because holy name is Krishna, not different from Krishna.
Yes, this is exactly the answer I wanted. Krishna is non-different from his holy name. And Krishna, when we chant Krishna's names, Krishna will enter the heart and kill these demons. And then we become humble also. Yes. Now, further, my question is, all the demons in Krishna Lila were killed by Krishna. There were specifically 3 demons which Krishna did not kill, but Balram killed them. Who are those 3 demons? Who will answer this? You can guess also. At least one you should be able to guess. Devotee should know. Okay, there are 3 hands raised. I will ask all the 3 then. Oh, there are now 6 hands raised. Okay, let's go first to Meenakshi Mataji. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. First one, I remember Dhenukasura.
Yes, Dhenukasura. Then?
I remember this only Prabhuji.
Okay, great. Dhenukasura, yes. This is one. Okay, then let's ask Jagdishwar Prabhuji. Which are the other demons killed by Balram? Yes, Janardhan Prabhuji.
Pralambasura.
Pralambasura. Then okay, Maya Narasimha Prabhuji.
Prabhu, we will gorilla.
Dvida. Correct.
Gorilla.
Yes. Dvida.
Yeah.
Yes. Krishnapat Prabhuji. You have something more to say? Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji, these 3 only.
Actually, there is
Pralambasura,
Vatsasur.
Yes, yes, yes.
So these specific pastimes one should study, because these 3 demons which are present in our heart also, even Krishna's holy name cannot kill them. Even Krishna's holy name cannot kill them, because Krishna did not kill these demons. Balram killed these demons. So who will kill these kill these demons? These demons whom Balram killed. Who will answer this? Yes, Krishnapat Prabhuji.
Guru.
Guru. Yes. Guru can see that anartha, and Guru by his instructions will kill these demons. So we should study these pastimes also in detail. Especially we should study Bhaktivinoda Thakur's analysis of how all these demons represent a specific anartha in our heart. So regularly we should read Krishna book and analyze, and many sannyasis have given talks on how these anarthas represent different demons, how these demons represent different anarthas. We should hear them. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur also goes on to mention there is a Nitya Leela and the Naimiktik Leela. The Nitya Leela is the eternal pastimes which Krishna performs in the spiritual world, which also sometimes he performs here in the form of the Ras Leela and all other pastimes. The Naimiktik Leela are of the killing of the demons. Because there are no demons in the spiritual world, there is no Naimiktik Leela which happens. There is only just a rumor. Oh, Kamsa is going to come, this demon is going to come. There are no demons in Golok Vrindavan. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that for sadhakas, Hearing repeatedly Naimiktik Leela is very, very important. More than the Nitya Leela. From these 7 pastimes, we see present the 6 elements of pride. That is Bhaktivinoda Thakur speaking about it. Okay. Paragraph 42 only. The particular leelas that these demons or materialists engaged in with Krishna fall under the heading of pride. From our limited perception, reading these leelas may not have much deeper value than hearing any other pastime. But a deep insight is illuminated by the directions we read from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And thus we can understand that while reading these stories, we should be very open and pray to Krishna that we become free from the illusion of pride, which comes due to scholarship, aristocracy, and so on. Raghunath Das Goswami says, throw out pride, sada dambam hitva. Just like Ravana's heads were shot, again it is to pop up. Similarly, repeatedly, these anarthas in the form of pride will come out. And repeatedly, that's why we have to hear these pastimes. But how will we throw it out? Bhaktivinoda Thakur recommends we read all these 7 pastimes relating to pride. Dhammam hitva, if we want to become free from pride. So now that we have this understanding, we should go back to Krishna book and start reading from this perspective. Krishna will actually remove that pride within our hearts when we have a great desire to be purified by reading and giving careful oral reception to these particular pastimes. So Krishna, Shunvatam Sukata Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtana, Hridantastoya Bhadrani, Vidunoti Surit Satam. He's Surit Satam, he's a heart-to-heart friend. And he sees that he is sincerely trying to hear these pastimes. Carefully, he is giving oral reception. So Krishna will purify. So this is, we have to have that great desire to get purified. Now, after this pride is killed, then what happens? This is the one kind of negative action we need to do. What is the positive action? Purum Ratim Apurvam Atitaram. So this will be the last theme which Maharaj is going to speak in paragraph 4, and he's going to now elaborate that Rati towards Guru, Goshte, Goshtaleshu, and all these 8 elements he's going to elaborate, which we will discuss in the next class. So that will be practically the last class on Shivram Swami Maharaj commentary. Any questions, any clarifications up till now? Okay then, so we'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami ki Jai, Sri Manah Shiksha ki Jai. Hare Krishna.